Welcome to week 5 of our Sew Steady gift guide, and this week is all about precision, and we're featuring one of our most versatile tools in our quilting and sewing lineup. Our universal circles and straights tool and mat makes it so easy to sew accurate circles, arcs, and seams with total confidence. With markings for circles up to 30 inches, plus our essential seam guides of 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch, and 5/8 inch on both sides of the needle, you're getting accuracy for every project. From holiday projects to quilts to sewing any kind of garments. This is going to be an essential tool for any new quilters or sewers alike that are needing that seam allowance support. This tool is designed to attach securely to the mat, giving you a smooth, controlled movement. And this week only, when you purchase the Circles and Straights tool, you'll also get our free scant spacing gauge, the perfect companion to ensure flawless spacing and beautiful aligned designs. This handy tool has a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and 3/8 inch spacing, along with the scant 1/4 inch guide, giving you that ideal seam allowance for your quilting. Plus, we're giving away one full tool set to one lucky winner. To enter to win, simply like, comment, and share, and sign up. Every interaction gives you an entry, and if you shop this week's deal, then you'll also get bonus entries for more chances to win our grand prize, which is going to be our Sew Steady Wish holiday table package and one of our Elevate quilt boxes. Ready to elevate your creativity even further? Take our Sewing in Circles Straights class, which is on our Sew Steady University. It's a free class with the purchase of this tool, and you're going to be able to get even further in your creativity. So please don't miss out on this chance. Take advantage of our deal, and we've got one link left in our Sew Steady gift guide. Hi everyone, it's Stacy with Sew Steady, and we are here live with Pam Varner. Pam, I am so excited that we are going to be doing this super fun cake class today.
Yeah.
We are baking, guys. So today we are going to go ahead and have Pam take it away. She's going to be making these adorable little Debbie Christmas cakes that will be perfect to add a little sugar, little Christmas trees into your holiday decor. So Pam, I'm going to let you take it away. But before I let you go, I did want to go ahead and let everyone know I'm going to be posting some links. Pam's going to be showing some super cool tools. We'd love for you to take advantage of checking out those items. We do have that Deal Day 20 offers going on these items today. And then finally, please join us for our calendar unveiling on the next Tuesday. We're doing it on Tuesday at 10 a.m. We're going to be sending out an email about it, but we would love for you to join us. We're going to be announcing the calendar, showing it off, and sharing with everyone some exciting new programs that we're going to be offering, and maybe even a way for us all to get together in 2026. So I will look forward to that, and I'm going to have Pam take it away. Thanks, Pam.
Okay, so it needs.
Thank you, Stacy. I'm really excited to share this with you guys. This is so much fun. This was inspired by Little Debbie Christmas tree cakes. My daughter saw the Sew Biz templates, the Christmas templates that are right here. And she said, Mom, that tree, it's perfect for a Little Debbie Christmas tree cake. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, apparently, if you don't know, this is the decorating trend that's going on right now. You can actually buy Christmas tree ornaments that are glass that look like this. So this is really fun. The other thing I thought, you know what, last minute, you could put some catnip in here and sew up the back, and you would have a little toy for your cat for the holidays. So let's get started on how these are made. I do not have written instructions, so play it back if you want to so that you can get all the dimensions. But let me go over what you're going to need. You're going to need some kind of foot that you can use the decorative stitches on your sewing machine. So there's a couple of options. There's one that has a clear toe on it. There's another that has an open toe. I prefer the open toe. That's just a personal preference. Whatever foot works best for you. Now my foot is 9 millimeters wide because that's how wide I can do my stitches on my machine. You might only be able to do 5 millimeters or 5.5, and that's fine. It's going to work out perfectly. It doesn't matter. You're also going to need your ruler foot. So those are the feet that you're going to need. You're going to need the Christmas tree template from the Sew Biz Christmas Motifs. So we're going to use this. You're going to need a couple pieces of backing fabric. Now this is the darkest tan that I could find in my stash, so that's what I'm using. But you could go darker if you wanted and make it even brown, make it look like a gingerbread cookie if you wanted. So you're going to need a 5-inch by 3-inch piece of fabric for your backing that's folded over and hemmed. And it's folded over like a 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch. It doesn't have to be perfect. You could stitch this down if you wanted to. I don't, but you could if you wanted to. So there's one of the backing pieces. The other backing piece you're going to need is 4 inches by 5 inches. So this is 4, this is 5. Okay, so those are the backing. For the top, which is what you see here, this fabric right here, you're going to need a 6 by 5 inch piece and also a 6 by 5 inch piece of batting. So I've layered those two together. Okay, you're going to need some stuffing. This is like polyfill that you would use to stuff like a doll or a stuffed animal or anything that, you know, little whatever stuffing that you have. So a pillow stuffing that works as too. You're going to need a marking pen. Now, this is never going to show up. You're never going to have to erase it. You don't have to get rid of it. It's going to be in the seam allowance. So you can use either an iron off one, you could use a wash away one, an air erase. You could also use a pencil, just a regular lead pencil. So you're going to need a pair of scissors. So the scissors to cut the fabric when we're all done. I like these. They have a serrated edge on them, so they kind of grip the fabric when I'm doing curves and things like that. So you're going to need a pair of those. You're going to need red and green thread. Now, I'm using 40 weight polyester embroidery thread, and that's in my needle. I've got a size 80 top stitch needle, and in my bobbin, I have 60 weight bobbin thread. That's thread that I use when I do embroidery. We'll talk about a little bit more about that in a minute. You're going to need a point turner, or I like to use this ball point or ball head bobbin that I have. This is kind of nice to go in and make sure everything's really smooth on the inside. So one of these will work. Now, as far as your decorative stitches, this is a really fun project to use decorative stitches on your machine. When you do decorative stitches, there's a couple things that you need to consider or you need to do. One is you need a stabilizer. Now, if I was just using regular fabric and not using batting, I would put a piece of stabilizer underneath this, like a cutaway stabilizer or a tearaway, depending on your fabric. But you want to have that to give your decorative stitches a little stabilization, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The batting here works like a stabilizer, so I don't need to add more stabilizer to this, but that's just a key with your decorative stitches. Now, the other thing is you want your bobbin tighter than normal sewing because you want your stitches to kind of go down into the back. So the backing's not going to be as pretty because you might see your top stitches on the backing, and that's fine because I'm using a white bobbin thread and I have my tension set a little bit tighter on my bobbin. Now, your machine, there's a bunch of different ways. Look in your manual to see how to tighten up your bobbin tension. In some instances, you can buy a separate bobbin case from your machine dealer. If you do a lot of decorative stitching or embroidery, I highly recommend that you get one of those, or even a second bobbin case that you can adjust the tension on and leave that just for doing decorative things. So that's that. I think I have covered everything. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my template and I'm going to let you know the reason that this is cut 5 by 6 inches is because that is the exact size of this template. And I can lay it right on top. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to take my marking pen. Let's see which one we're going to use. We can use this one. And I'm going to go around the template. Now remember, when I get out my ruler foot, I'm going to be stitching a 1/4 inch away from this line. So that's why it's going to be in the seam allowance. And I'm just going around. I just need an outline of the tree, because anything that I stitch outside of this line, I'm not going to see. Because when we put this together, the seam is going to be a 1/4 inch away from the edge of the template. So now I can take that out. And you want to make sure when you do that part that the top of your template is at the top of the fabric up here. So let me move that down just a little bit. Okay, so that will help us when we put the whole thing together. Now, I've already done it, but you do want to do some test stitches to make sure that everything comes out all right and the settings on your machine are all set up and things like that. So I'm going to remove my ruler foot and put on my open toe foot. And I have red thread in the machine. And the first stitch I'm going to do is a triple stitch. If you wanted to, you could do a really narrow zigzag stitch and make it into a satin stitch by tightening up your stitch length, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use a triple stitch because if you don't have a bunch of settings on your machine, this is one setting that almost every machine has, is a triple stitch. If you don't, like I said, go ahead and use a satin stitch. So what I'm going to do is I want to make garland that kind of curves on my tree here. And I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm going to look here and see what I got. This one, I got a little too close to the bottom on this one, so I kind of want to not do that again. So we're going to go up at the top. Again, taking into consideration, I've got a 1/4 inch around here that you're not going to see. So I'm going to start here. I have my machine set for my triple stitch, and I am just going to stitch. I go really slow so that when I make these curves, it's not a sharp little point. And now I'm outside the tree. I also set my machine to lock the stitches at the end, and that's because of the next stitch that we're going to do. So there's a lot of settings on the newer machines. You may want to look into them. And it didn't cut my thread. That was not nice. Look at your machine settings. Look at your manual to see, like, if you have an automatic cutter, how you can tack your stitches down and things like that. So now we're going to come here. And like I said, these don't have to be perfect. I'm going to go down a little bit lower this time. So I'm not going to have such a gentle curve. I'm going to have one that's a little bit more dramatic, I guess is what. So now I'm going to turn this way. And come out here. See if I cut the thread that time. Yay, it cut the thread. So see now how this one goes down a little bit deeper. The curve on it's a little bit deeper. So now we're going to come here and we're going to make another one. So if you want to see where this inspiration came from, if you can Google Little Debbie Christmas trees and you'll see what I'm talking about if you're not familiar with them. This is a really fun and fast project to do. Now, before I do any more along here, man, that's leaving a really long tail. I want to come down and do one along here. And I want to make sure that I leave room in here for my next type of stitch that I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to come along here because I want to put another design into this section down here. And I want to make sure I have enough room to do that. Okay, now, see, I didn't go off over here, and that's okay, because remember, we're going to come in 1/4 of an inch. So I think that's going to be okay. Let's look. Yeah, just barely. So you don't have to be perfect. All right, we're going to do a couple more in here. And these ones we're going to make deeper like this one up here. And then we got one more to go. Let's see. Now, I could have waited till I got to this point before I did that whole locking stitch when I cut my threads. But this is what we've got going on. So I'm going to trim off these right now, get them out of my way. And if you have little scraps of batting, this is what I like to do. I have these next to my machine and I use them for two things. One, I use them when I clean my machine. I wipe the cleaning brush on it and it gets the fuzz and it attaches to my batting. The other is I go like this and I put little stray threads on it and it stops them from going on the floor. So we'll just do that. There's a little tip for you. All right, so this is what we have so far. And now I'm going to change to my green thread. So give me a second. And if you don't know, when you change your threads, you should always pull the thread through the needle, through the machine, and never pull it out the back end. You can mess up with your tension discs if you do that. So I'm sure you know that, but just in case you're new to sewing. which if you are, welcome to the wonderful world of sewing. Okay, so now I've got my green thread that I'm putting in. And on the Little Debbie cakes, the green is like little pieces of sprinkle. And I just decided to do I'm not really sure what it's called. If you know what it's called, let me know, but it's like a star stitch. And I'm going to show you what it does as soon as I get this threaded. So this is a stitch that goes down and back a couple of times, and then it goes to the left, it goes to the right, it goes up 45 degrees and back 45 degrees to the right and back, to the bottom left, to the bottom right, and then to the bottom. And it would continue to go. I have told my machine when I use the stitch to only do one design at a time. So after it stitches this out, it's going to stop. Your machine may not have that feature, so you kind of have to pay attention. There's a whole bunch of decorative stitches available on lots of machines. Just kind of play around and see what you like. So to make sure that this is going to work properly, I'm just going to test it. Make sure that my thread's and my needle okay. There we go. The thread tail's a little long. So even though my foot was still on the pedal, it stopped sewing. And now I can cut my threads, and I want this stitch to lock. This stitch, I didn't care if it locked. This one I do. So here it is. And you know what? I can make it a little bit wider. So let me do that. Let me see what I can do here. I'm just going to play around with this and see if I can get a bigger stitch out of it. So I've got my stitch width set at 7. And let's see what happens. There we go. So there's my stitch. I like it. I hope you can see that. So that's the stitch that I'm going to do. And I'm just going to randomly put them on my piece. So this is kind of in the middle. I know that as long as it's not going to go beyond my foot. So let's just put one here. I'm holding the scissors. I don't know why. Like I'm going to start stirring or something. There we go. And then we're going to put a couple in here. But remember, I need to be a 1/4 inch away in order for those to show up. And I don't have a 1/4 inch marking on the back of my foot. So, but we'll just, that looks good enough. You could, if you wanted to, take a marker and mark within using your stitching line discs. You certainly don't have to, but you could. Then you would have to remove those marks before you could sew it together, which would be fine. So there's a couple more, and then we're going to have to trim all these threads off. Let's do one here. And I think on this section here, we probably have enough room to do 3 of them. But we're going to do it a little bit closer to the red than we were before. I don't sew really fast when I do decorative stitching. I don't, kind of makes me nervous to do it too fast. Now some stitches, once I get the hang of it, I might go faster, but for these stitches where it's going back and up and back and side to side and that kind of stuff, I prefer to do it slower. There we go. Okay, let's come up here. I think we'll do 3 on this one too. I'm looking, I don't see any questions. Okay, come here. And then on this one, we're going to do 4. And then we're going to do, this one's kind of going to be kind of close to the last one, but that's all right. There's no perfect science. I suppose you could put little dots on your fabric if doing it this way made you anxious. I'm more of a go with the flow kind of sewer than I am where things have to be perfect. But if you wanted to mark them, that would be fine. Okay, and then we're going to move up just a little bit. I want to try and get 4 in this area here. Okay, and so one more here. These are going to be kind of close to the edge, but that's all right. We're going for cute here. We're not going for perfection. Okay, now let's put one up here. Let's put one here in the middle. Well, that's kind of in the middle. What you don't want to do is you don't want to cross your garland. You could also do this in different colors. That was a weird noise. Let's hope everything's okay here. I just came unthreaded. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to test it. There we go. I think that's better. I might have been going too fast. Let's see what happens. There, I think it's all better now. Okay, so we have two more little star things to do. I used to know the name of this stitch, and for the life of me, I can't remember what it's called. And then we're going to do one here, but I don't want it to get cut off. So I'm putting the inside of my foot right here on this right toe. I'm putting it kind of almost right on this line, just kind of a little, there it would be, the line would be on the inside of the foot, and I'm kind of moving it to the outside just a little bit. I want to get this star as high as I can. You know, you could do this with green fabric in a whole bunch of different colors. You could make these smaller, and then you could do like white thread for the garland to make it look like popcorn. You know, that would be kind of fun. Now we have all of these threads that we need to cut, so let me get all of these cut. And oops, this one. These two got attached. There we go. You could probably make a dozen of these in the time it would make you to bake real cookies. Not that I'm against real cookies. These just last longer. And they look really cute if you put them in on a plate or in a basket. There we go. So this is what we have so far. It's so cute. Now, I'm going to switch to my ruler foot. If I can figure out what I did with it. There it is. That was scary. I knew it was on here because I showed it to you. Okay. I'm going to switch to my ruler foot. I'm going to set my machine for ruler quilting, so give me just a second to do that. And I think that's going to be fine. So Feed dogs are raised. I'm on a straight stitch. I also put my stitch length at 0. For those of you that know me, you know that's just what I do. So it's a little redundant, but it's fine with me. Now I'm going to take my backing pieces. Remember, we had taken one of the backing pieces and we put a little hem on it. I'm going to put that down first on the bottom, and I'm putting it wrong side down. So right sides to right sides, like that. And then I'm going to take the other piece and figure out which is the right side and which is the wrong side. Oh, there we go. And put that wrong side down as well. Now, I don't need to clip this or pin it or anything on the way around. I'm also going to leave the green thread in my machine just so you can see what I'm doing. Normally when I do this, I do it with white thread. It's really hard to see on the batting, and well, especially on this light colored fabric for when we go to cut it. So do you remember how when we put the template down, we lined it up at the top? I'm doing that again. And I can see through this fabric. Normally, if you have a darker fabric, you won't be able to see, but I can see my little stars through the fabric. If it was down here and I moved it down this way, I'm not going to get that same design that I was going for, because we stitched inside the template markings, and now we're going to put the template back on, line it up on the top and the sides. So I don't know if I told you this, but the backing fabric and the front fabric is cut based on the size of the actual template, which is 5 by 6. So again, I'm keeping my my green thread in the machine. Not my favorite thing to do, but that's all right. And I'm going to pull up my bobbin thread. We hope. We got it. Perfect. I think I got it. Yeah, there it is. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take a couple of tacking stitches. When I do that, I hold on to my top and bobbin thread so that it doesn't get sucked into the machine and cause a jam. And now I'm just going to go around the tree. Now, if you haven't stitched this tree out in a while, and I'm doing really, really tight stitches, because this is a seam, right? And we're going to stuff it, and we don't want this to come apart. I highly recommend that you stitch this out before you do this project, because these bumps here are really scary. And now I have to be careful because this is where my fabric overlaps and I don't want my foot to slip under it. So when I come up here, I just have to make sure that I don't do that. And I'm fine. And I'm going to go around this twice. I really want this seam to be secure. When I get back up to where I started, I'm going to take a couple of locking stitches. And because this is a seam, I can just cut my threads, but it's going to do that terrible locking thing, so I don't want to do that. I'm just going to cut my threads. Oh, I got a little bit of a mess going on in the back. There we go. So we're going to, oh, where's my bobbin thread? There it is. You can see the stitches here. This is the white thread on the batting, but I'm not sure how well you can see it on camera. On this side, you can see the stitches really easily. So I'm going to use this side, and that's why I left the green thread in there. The first time I did this, I wasn't paying that close of attention because the thread was white, and this fabric is so light that I cut right through the stitches. And you don't want to do that because then you have to start over. And I'm cutting about between 1/4 and 1/8 of an inch away from the stitching. That was really close. I don't like that. That's too close. Makes me really nervous. This is right where it's the fabric is doubled, so it's a little harder. And I don't know if you can notice what I'm doing, but I'm moving the fabric. I know I've said this before. I always move the fabric and not my scissors. You get smoother cuts. And if you have to, you can always come back and cut more. You can't cut less. I do not come in here and pinch or, poke these through. I suppose you could if you wanted to put in a couple of snips here. I'm just afraid I'm going to go through the stitching, so I don't do that. So here we go. And now here's our little opening. And we're going to turn this right side out. This is the hardest thing you have to do. Let's get this pulled out here. Okay, I start off with my finger. I have fingernails. I know not everybody does. Well, like fingernails that stick out is what I'm saying. And then I go through with my my bodkin, which is right here. Like I said, you could also use a point turner. And I go up inside, and I can poke out the top of my tree. I can poke out the sides of it so that you get that nice, oh, that should have been done with a finger. There we go. Let's see if I can. So I'm going, I don't know if you can see, here's the top fabric goes up to here, this piece of fabric. So you have to go under that to poke these things out down on the bottom. And you just manipulate it a little bit. You'll get used to how hard can I press before I go through, because there'll be a time where you go through. But that's why I double stitch. Less likely to go through if you double stitch. And there's this little branch coming out here. So there's that side. That looks really good. Let's do this side. We still have that's sticking in. There we go. Wow, that looks really good. This little piece of fabric is from the, or a little piece of thread is from the backing, so I'm going to trim it off. And now we're going to stuff it. So when you stuff, you don't want to take a big clump and shove it in there. You want to take little pieces and put them in, get them to where you want them. Trying to get under that piece of fabric so I can get the stuffing in it. There we go. And then you can take like your bodkin and kind of push it up towards the top or use your finger. I'm not a doll maker, so if anybody has any great ways to get things stuffed, I would appreciate knowing that. Oh, I have a bump that didn't come out very well. Here, let's get that out. There. Okay. So now he's stuffed on the top. And now we're going to take another little piece, put it in. This is the hardest thing that you'll do in this entire project, is getting it stuffed. And then we're gonna just a little bit more on these sides to get under the thing again. There we go. So we can get over to these edges. Stuff the bottom. And there you go. It's all done. Now, I leave mine open. I don't have little people that hang out in my house. But if you had little people, babies, toddlers, things like that, you definitely would want to close this up. You could take a piece of like steam-a-seam tape and put it in here and iron it shut. You can stitch it closed. So those are a couple of ways you can close up the back end, which I definitely would do if I was going to fill this with catnip for a cat. I definitely would want to close this end up. Now, I have done that before when I've made things like this, and I've put the steam-a-seam strip on this part, the folded part of the backing, before I've sewn it together. And then it's pretty easy to get the paper off, like the little wax paper off, so that then you can press it. So there we go. We have one more cookie for our batch. And again, I'm looking for questions and I'm not seeing any. Okay, let's just check here. Oh, I do see some stuff. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me see if I can read these questions. A lot of hellos. Star stitch. Oh, candle wicking. That's maybe what it is. Thank you. I think it's called candle wicking. Flexible foam inside before you turn it. If you don't have to, then you don't have to stuff it. I don't know. Flexible foam. I've never used that before. Flexible foam. I don't know what that is even, but I will look for it the next time I'm at the craft store. So, all right. That's all I have, people. So I want to thank you for being here, and I hope everybody has a nice holiday, and be sure to come and play with us on Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday morning,
Tuesday
right?
morning. We've got
Yeah.
lives all weekend though. We've got the Christmas stocking live that we had audio issues on. Wednesday is going to be live tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. So that's coming up. And then we've got a live class by one of our newest educators, Michelle Hall. She's going to be diving into that freestanding lace collection that we just released. She's going to be doing that on Monday. And then Tuesday, we have our huge customer appreciation event. So we want you all to join us. Come be part of all of the education. If you can't catch it live, definitely join us after the fact. But I will tell you, on Tuesday, there's going to be all kinds of live giveaways. So if you can take the time out of your day to stop by 10 a.m. Tuesday, it'll be worth it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Pam. We really appreciate all that you do and absolutely love this super, super cute holiday project. So
Thank you. I had fun.
Right. Well, we'll look forward to hopefully seeing you all on a future live and more to come. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. Welcome to week 5 of our Sew Steady gift guide, and this week is all about precision, and we're featuring one of our most versatile tools in our quilting and sewing lineup. Our universal circles and straights tool and mat makes it so easy to sew accurate circles, arcs, and seams with total confidence. With markings for circles up to 30 inches, plus our essential seam guides of 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch, and 5/8 inch on both sides of the needle, you're getting accuracy for every project. From holiday projects to quilts to sewing any kind of garments. This is going to be an essential tool for any new quilters or sewers alike that are needing that seam allowance support. This tool is designed to attach securely to the mat, giving you a smooth, controlled movement. And this week only, when you purchase the Circles and Straights tool, you'll also get our free scant spacing gauge, the perfect companion to ensure flawless spacing and beautiful aligned designs. This handy tool has a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and 3/8 inch spacing, along with the scant 1/4 inch guide, giving you that ideal seam allowance for your quilting. Plus, we're giving away one full tool set to one lucky winner. To enter to win, simply like, comment, and share, and sign up. Every interaction gives you an entry, and if you shop this week's deal, then you'll also get bonus entries for more chances to win our grand prize, which is going to be our Sew Steady Wish holiday table package and one of our Elevate quilt boxes. Ready to elevate your creativity even further? Take our Sewing in Circles Straights class, which is on our Sew Steady University. It's a free class with the purchase of this tool, and you're going to be able to get even further in your creativity. So please don't miss out on this chance. Take advantage of our deal, and we've got one link left in our Sew Steady gift guide.